So today we're going to be checking out two more new fragrance releases. We have Roberto Cavalli Paradise Found, and we also have Missoni Wave. So I have the original Missoni fragrance, just Missoni Pour Homme Parfum for him. It's a great fragrance. I really like that one. It's pretty high quality and really solid fragrance for the price. It can be found on discounters. And when I saw Wave come out, I was equally as excited to grab this one as well. Same thing with the Roberto Cavalli. I have a few of their fragrances, not too many, but a couple of them. And this one looked pretty interesting by the note breakdown. I like the look of the bottle and pictures, and I also like the name. It has a nice palm tree texture on the box there. Just seems like it's gonna be a very fun tropical fragrance, and Missoni Wave is gonna be a freshie as well. So I'm excited to try both of these live on camera for you and let you know if I think they're worth picking up. The Roberto Cavalli I did grab on Fragrance X, so it is one that you can scoop up on discounters now and get it for a little bit of a discounted price. It's still not really, I don't think, quite a cheapie yet, but it's you know, a little bit less than retail, which is always nice. Over time, as this one has been out for longer, the price will go down. The Missoni I did pick up at full retail. So we're gonna go ahead and start with Paradise Found. Now, one thing that threw me off when I pulled this one out of the box right away is that there's not really a label on it. As you can see in the front, it's kind of hard to pick up here, but just nothing there, just glass. And here, nothing as well. The only difference is right there, etched into the top, you can see Roberto Cavalli right there. It is not on the back of the bottle, so this is technically the front of the bottle. As far as I'm aware, I don't see anything that says Paradise Found. The bottom does not say it, just gives you your batch and the bottle size. But I don't see Paradise Found on here, which is interesting. So if you see this one sitting on a shelf somewhere, if it's not labeled, you're not going to know what it's called. So it's a little bit weird, but I do like the look of the bottle, this nice dark green color. The bottle does have a nice shape to it. I like the silver cap and everything on there. There's a bit of detail under there. So different bottle for sure. Cap does click into place. Nothing fancy there. Let's go ahead and give this one a spray for the first time and see what it's all about. Decent atomizer on this one. Let's see. So it opens up fruity and green right off the bat. Now this very juicy fruitiness up top. Looking at the note breakdown, there isn't any citruses or any fruits listed in the note breakdown. I'm almost getting like this juicy fruity apple. A bit of a spiciness. I believe that spiciness is probably coming from the pimento seeds. But it does open up very vibrant right off the top. As it's settling, I'm getting some cashmere and some ambroxan, some musk that's starting to come into play. A little bit of clary sage in there as well, and just overall this very green feel. It does smell nice right off the bat, right away. Nothing that is, you know, something that I've never smelled before. This does have kind of a familiar feel to it. You know, just a very green, kind of fresh, slightly fruity touch with a bit of a spiciness. And a lot of aroma chemicals. So that's kind of, you know, I looked at the note breakdown going into it, I kind of figured that's how it was going to be, and that's really kind of how it is so far. I'm going to go ahead and spray my hand now. We'll try it out on skin just to see if I pick up on anything different here on skin. So right off the top, opens up a lot more spicy on skin. And this is one where for sure smells better on skin. On paper, immediately I was getting this fruitiness, fruity sweetness like an apple, like I mentioned. Here, it's more about the spices. Still very green right off the opening. Musk is immediately coming through, ambroxan immediately coming through, cashmere immediately coming through. Just very aroma chemical heavy here for sure, which isn't something that's meant in a bad way. It's just that's what I'm picking up on quite a bit. Does smell nice, does smell pleasant. There's patchouli listed in the note breakdown on this one in the mid. I'm not really getting any patchouli as of yet. But I would imagine as some of those other notes start to kind of settle down, the patchouli may come through a little bit more. Again, the pimento seeds up top is a really nice touch. It gives it a spicy kick and really kind of catches your attention right off the opening. The opening so far for me is the most interesting part on skin and on paper, although again is better on skin. As it is starting to settle down here, you are just getting more of those aroma chemicals like I mentioned a second ago, and it's kind of where it starts to become a little bit more familiar. So far though, not a bad fragrance. Quality wise, it's coming across great. It is really well blended. It is a smooth scent. And it does smell nice and pleasant. Nothing that's going to blow you away, but really at this point for me, when it comes to freshies and fragrances like this, it's not really something I am expecting. In terms of the name, Paradise Found, I don't really know if I would have chose that name for this one. I was thinking of something with more of a tropical feel. You know, typically when I think of tropical, I think of coconut and other notes like that. And I'm saying that every tropical fragrance with the name tropical has to have coconut in it, and I wasn't really expecting that here, obviously, because I did look at the note breakdown. But I would expect something with a bit more, maybe perhaps an aquatic touch, coconut, saltiness, something along those lines for Paradise Found. I mean, you see the tropical looking leaves on the front of the box, and I don't know, I think this could be maybe a little bit misleading depending on kind of what you're picturing, but it still does smell nice, fresh, and it's definitely going to be one of those really good, mass appealing, versatile, compliment getting scents for the spring and summertime. All right, and lastly, we're going to be checking out Missoni Wave. So right off the bat, I love the bottle. I like the original Missoni bottle, Missoni Parfum for Men. It just has a nice shape to it. It's got this thing going around it here in the middle, this texture on the glass. It's a nice bottle, nice blue gradient here. Definitely looks like a summer fragrance, very fitting to the name. And this one is also equipped with a nice, strong magnetic cap, just like the original one. So really nice presentation on these. Obviously at retail, it's not really anything that's cheap, but at discounters, I believe you can get them in that mid-range price, which again, the original is really nice. This one is not there yet, but it will be at some point. We'll go ahead and give it a spray. The atomizers on these are also really, really nice as well. A great atomizer here. So right off the bat, I looked online. This one is getting compared to a certain Chanel fragrance. It's getting compared to Chanel Allure Homme Sport, and right off the bat, for sure, I do get that comparison. Chanel Allure Homme Sport / Versace Pour Homme kind of can go hand in hand a little bit. They are pretty close. Of course, the Chanel did come first in 2004. The Versace came 4 years later, but those two are pretty similar. And I am getting a very, very similar smell to both of those, like really close. And to me, it's almost like you took the Chanel and the Versace and mixed them together and created this. Because this has that very bright vibrance that the Versace has. The Chanel has that as well, but Versace, that one has more of a floral component, more bright and uplifting in the opening, whereas the Chanel has the orange, but it's a bit more creamy. I'm getting more of that vibrance from Missoni Wave here, kind of similar to Versace Pour Homme. But in the base, there is a bit more of a creaminess to it. There's definitely a nice creamy orange in here, coming kind of aiding to some of that sweetness. There is citruses up top. There is a nice aquatic note. Definitely does have this nice kind of salty marine type of smell. I'm going to go ahead and do a spray on my hand as well, just to see what we have going on. Again, love the atomizer on this one. Really, really well done. Yeah, same thing. A little bit different here on skin, though, right off the top. It's got a bit more of a, I don't know how to describe it, a bit more of a flat type of feeling on skin when I first spray it on, is the best way I can describe it. Again, on paper, it was quite a bit different, more vibrant. On skin, right off the top here, it's less super, super potent. It's less vibrant, and it's less creamy right off the rip. You know, when I first sprayed it, I first pulled the trigger on paper, you get all that brightness right up top. Whereas here, now that it's touched down on skin, it's kind of pulled back a little bit. It doesn't quite have that same vibrant pop that I get from the fragrances that this one's compared to, the Versace and the Chanel. It's got a bit more of a pulled back feeling. Now, would I be able to tell the difference between this and Chanel Allure Homme Sport and Versace Pour Homme? Personally, I would. So I would be able to tell a difference. I'm not saying that it's, you know, super, super different. They're still pretty close. I mean, it's no denying the fact that they took heavy, heavy inspiration from the two fragrances that I mentioned before. But it is still different here on skin. Still does have quite a bit of that kind of ozonic, bright freshness, but it's just not quite as vibrant, and it's not quite as creamy right off the top. As it is settling down, the C notes are still there, a little bit of citrus is still there, the orange is still there, although not quite a creamy orange. There's no tonka bean in here like in the Chanel. It does have a bit of a floral component. I do believe rose. There is a touch of rosemary in here as well, a little bit of vetiver, oak moss listed in the base. That's not really coming through yet. Maybe a little bit of a woody touch, but not too much. Definitely a nice muskiness in here as well. So for my thoughts on Missoni Wave, smells great. I'm a big fan of this DNA, and therefore I really do like this fragrance. Now, currently at the price that it's at retail, I wouldn't pay retail for this one. I just think if you're going to be paying $100, you could step up and grab the Chanel for not too much more than that, depending on what bottle size you get. And you could step down quite a ways to about $40 and get Versace Pour Homme on discounters. So that's kind of where I'm at here with this one. However, Once this one does hit discounters, I do believe it's going to be maybe in that $50, $55 range, somewhere around in there, 60 maybe. I don't remember exactly for sure what the Missonis go for. I know FragranceNet does carry the original. I will link to these fragrances I'm talking about down below. And at that price point, it'll still be more expensive than the Versace. However, it does get you kind of that Chanel twist a little bit. And because of that, I would say, look, if you want something with a bit of an upgraded presentation, if you want something that gets you a little bit closer to the Chanel, it's kind of like a hybrid of both, this one will be a good pickup once it hits discounters. Of course, this is all pending the performance. I have no clue on that yet. This is one that I will be revisiting probably as we get closer to spring for a full review, and same with the Roberto Cavalli as well. And going back to the Roberto Cavalli real quick here on my skin, Paradise Found, dried down to a nice warm, kind of smooth ambergris, ambroxan base, with the cashmere and with the musk. That's kind of primarily what I'm getting here with this one. Goes quite a bit different from the opening, very kind of bright in the opening, to a more of a soft, warm amber dry down. Smells really nice. Nothing that's going to blow you away, and really nothing that smells tropical to me again. And this one is going kind of sweet, to where, you know, really hot summer days, probably wouldn't choose it. Spring, fall, that would work great. Summer evenings, climate controlled, would work great. But summer daytime, going to your little spot of paradise on the beach, when it's 100 degrees, probably wouldn't wear Paradise Found. But it does smell nice though. So guys, I think that's going to do it for me. That's my thoughts on Missoni Wave and Roberto Cavalli, Paradise Found. Couple nice new summer fragrances here. Really, the verdict on these is pretty much the same. Once these hit discounters, this one is already Paradise Found, but it is still kind of higher in price. Once they do hit discounters and both fall into the normal price for the brands, I think they'll both be solid pickups. Again, the Missoni will be redundant if you own the Versace and the Chanel, or one of each. If you own either of them, this will be redundant. But if you don't have any of them and you want an alternative to the Chanel, and you want something that's maybe a bit of a hybrid in between the Chanel and the Versace, and you want to pay just a little bit more to grab this one, then it would be a good choice. Again, I'm a sucker for this DNA. It's ultra versatile, it smells great, it's sexy, it's mass appealing, it's a great compliment getter. Love this type of fragrance here. So guys, that's going to do it for me. That's my thoughts on these two new fragrances. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will at some point be getting full videos out on these. And I will link to all the other fragrances that I talked about in this video down below to discounters. That way you can check out some of the other ones that we talked about today as well. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.